Macmillan Audio presents Blood and Moonlight by Erin Beaty. Read for you by Kathleen Mcinerney. For Natalie, who wanted a murder mystery. Chapter 1. I'm waiting for the moon. All other ground-level windows in the neighborhood are shuttered for the night as I lean out of hours to look. A breeze whisks up the deserted street, carrying the scent of rain and the distant rumble of thunder from the west. The city of Collis covers a large hill rising from the flat plains, but my view of the approaching storm is blocked by angled roofs. If I balance on my hips and crane my neck as far as it will go, the rose window and towers of the Holy Sanctum to the east are just visible through a gap between houses. Even without moonlight, the white facade glows against the ebony blanket of sky, washing out all the stars. Not high enough yet. I sigh and lever myself back inside as Magister Thomas comes down the stairs into the workroom behind me. The architect pauses when he sees me, his eyebrows so high they disappear in the chestnut hair peeking out from under his cap.
"Catrin," he says, "I thought you went to bed hours ago."
"No, Magister." I remove the angled support and lower the shutter, sliding the bolts into the frame, before turning to face my employer's frown.
"If I didn't know better," he observes, "I'd say you're dressed for climbing."
After dinner, I traded my calf-length working skirt for a much shorter one over a man's breeches, and bound and pinned my dark curls into submission. "I am," I admit. "I wanted to check on a bowed crossbeam I noticed this morning on the southern scaffolds." The master architect's frown deepens, creasing his forehead.
"Why didn't you do it earlier?"
"Well," I count the reasons on my fingers. "Between showing the Comte de Montcur around the worksite all morning, verifying the alignment of the drainage system, writing up the stone orders for you to sign, and visiting the market in search of fresh rosemary for Mistress LaFontaine, I ran out of time." I drop my hands and shrug. Besides, it's easier to inspect when the scaffolds aren't crawling with workers. The architect eyes my belt, which doesn't hold the small hammer I usually carry.
"And no wandering hands to smash. How many this week?"
he asks severely. His ire isn't directed at me, so I smile. "Only 3 or 4. If the apprentices, and some of the older craftsmen, would just keep their hands to themselves, they wouldn't have to worry about their fingers. I don't hit hard enough to break bones the first time, and once is usually enough."
"Show me where your concern is, then."
Magister Thomas nods to the scale replica of Collis's sanctum, which dominates the room. The model is as old as the sanctum itself, started decades ago. I walk around to the far end of the table, and the architect joins me from the opposite side. Really, to call this representation a model doesn't do it justice. Every stone, window, and shingle of the structure is perfectly and proportionally rendered, from the 2 square towers at the western entrance and down its long nave, to the arms extending north and south from the altar at the center, or rather, what will be the center once the holy building is finished. Our expansion project now underway will lengthen the building far beyond its current T-shape. The transept wings mark the beginning of the work area, all of which is also portrayed and updated with our progress, including the scaffolding. "Right here." I point to a scarlet thread I've tied as my own reminder of the location, then back away so he can see. It's in a support section, as complicated as a spider's web, tucked within the shadow of the high tower at the end of the southern transept. As Magister Thomas leans closer to look, the parchment nailed to the wall behind him flutters. The light is too dim for me to read the names written on it, but I know them all by heart. For
Sample complete. Ready to continue?